Hi guys, welcome to the Adam Fitch podcast. I'm your host Adam Fitch. You should know that by the name of the podcast. If you don't, then you're clearly off your head and quarantine's really getting to you. This is, I think, the 22nd episode. I always struggle on these. I never check beforehand. I never do any preparation because I'm a really good host. I know exactly what I'm doing at all times. Everything is under control. I'm not scared. I definitely know what I'm doing. Someone help me, please. So yeah, as always, every Tuesday this goes out. Speak to people from different corners of the esports industry to get a better look into what goes on behind closed doors, really. Providing an access that not many other people can provide. And I don't think anyone's actually really doing anything like this still. I think there's one in German now, done by Chris Hanna at Esports Observer. I'm not saying I'm his inspiration. I'm just saying maybe I'm his inspiration. Maybe. So today I'm joined by Dunk, the man himself. It's Duncan Cox, right? I've never actually asked you about your surname, but I think that's it.
Yeah, you nailed it.
It'd be really bad if I just fucked your name up right at the beginning, wouldn't it?
No, you got it spot on. I don't usually give my full name out to people. I just go by Dunk.
Shit.
No, but you're fine. Yeah, I mean, you could just go on LinkedIn and find me. It's an incredibly easy world, but you live in a digital world. So
yeah.
But yeah, I'm Duncan Cox. Nice to meet you.
This isn't the gaming side of shit now, man. This is real life stuff. We use real life names over here.
Yeah, I know. But thank you very much for having me on the podcast.
Of course.
I'm looking forward to this episode.
I know you're really big on public speaking and such, especially since you joined TSM. Like, you're not nervous at all. Like, you're really feeling up for this. And I mean, you actually paid £500 to jump on this with me. So, I mean, I appreciate it, and I'll send the invoice as soon as this is done recording, you know.
Fake news.
We don't deal with that over at ESI. Everything we say is the truth, mate. So let me get your job title right without any prep as well, right?
Go for it.
It's not just it's social media and community. Is it a manager?
Manager.
It could have been specialist or anything really. I don't know. Titles are mad in esports these days.
Yeah, and especially within social media, you kind of have like 5 different levels of title, as to say.
Oh, really?
But they all pretty much do the same thing. Yeah, you have the social lead, which is at the top. Then you have the social media manager. You have the social media specialists. You have the social media coordinators. Then you have social media interns.
Right.
And then you have community managers. Yeah, it's all very too many titles for.
So manager's the second best.
Some people call it social media lead or social media manager, but that person, head of social, whatever it is, they are the person at the top, and they're the one that basically just builds they build the strategy, they build the voice, they build the brand guidelines, and then it's everyone underneath them that basically makes that happen.
Okay. Did you have like professional social media experience, like working in a professional capacity before joining TSM?
Absolutely diddly squat.
Yeah, so why the fuck are you manager then?
No, so it's obviously it's obviously a lot bigger story. But I had no prior social media experience outside of me just personally tweeting on Twitter and using Instagram and stuff. So like, you kind of gain a good understanding of the platforms, but when it comes to the business side of things, I didn't have anything. I didn't know much about the strategy. I didn't know kind of anything around like brand, voice, tone, etc. So it's obviously I'm blessed to be in this position with no experience, but I guess someone somewhere decided to put a bit of trust in me.
It's a big risk, mate. Big risk. But no, but like, so your background is in sales, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, then do you think like sales is obviously like gift of the gab somewhat, right? Depending on the role, I guess. But like being able to frame things a certain way, and obviously that'll be handy in social media. So do you think there are some like transferable skills there?
Yeah, 100%. Like if you're a salesman, it's what you just said. You have the gift of the gab, so you're able to just talk on your feet, talk crap, and make up stuff, and innovate, and kind of think on your feet, sort of thing. So there are definitely some transferable skills, but it can also, like when it comes to grammar, copyright, things like that. None of that comes from sales because I'm voicing it all the time. My previous job is me just talking to people face to face, emails here and there. But again, emails you don't write lengthy ones. So there are some areas which I've had to work on like tremendously compared to sales. But yeah, being able to talk for England and stuff definitely does have its definitely has its forte, yeah, for sure.
It hasn't fucking paid off for me. I'm gonna get into sales soon. I'm gonna try at least. But so this is your first esports role, correct?
Yes.
Okay, let's get into that a bit, because not necessarily the role, but there's an ongoing dialogue that's been going on a lot as long as I've been working in esports, in which is how you should go about getting jobs, right? And a lot of people say volunteer. A lot of people say do what you can. A lot of people say side hustles. A lot of people say no, you must get paid right from the beginning. Blah blah blah. But it's like me. Mine's kind of it's subjective based on the person's situation, right? So if you've got a really cushy job in whatever it may be, and you want to come into esports as, say, like a freelance writer, like don't just quit your job and hope to get pieces commissioned and such by publications. Like, you need to build that shit up. So it's very dependent on what the role is and the situation of the person. But generally, I think showing a bit of willing, however that may be, goes very much goes a long way. And I think that's evident in your kind of story in esports. So I remember you launching TSM Report.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think we spoke about it just as you were launching it and such, right? And I mean, it's in nature and just the strategy of it is very much similar to like the Optic Update and the ZNRG Live and or whatever it's called, and all these. It's just it's like a secondary channel in which it can provide more updates on the games that are going on and roster moves and stuff, where you don't want to spam the main social channel all the time. And perhaps you identified that TSM had a gap in its coverage that it could bolster. I'm not going to try and get you to say yes or no to that. I know you go, but like, just from my opinion, I assume like you wouldn't have started it if one already existed. That's how I look at it, at least.
Absolutely.
And it didn't seem to take long at all from the inception of that Twitter account to you joining TSM. I remember like before you could announce it, you told me a little bit about it, and you were absolutely like buzzing, and I was like, fucking hell, that's happened quick. But you potentially, at least in my opinion, you saw a gap and you showed how it could be filled and how you're the right person to do that. So can you kind of speak on that process a bit for me?
Yeah. So like touching back on what you just spoke about, kind of like how to get into the esports world and the careers within esports. I actually think it's like one of the most challenging industries ever to be a part of, because to get yourself noticed and get yourself known, like to get yourself in front of people, it can be so difficult because there's so many leagues and tournaments which are all hosted online. So it's not like you can go to an arena unless there's obviously a massive match to get yourself kind of like in front of someone. And I've been chasing esports since 2013 to like get into the scene. Okay. And there is I sent a hilarious email to Gfinity back in 2013 when they hosted a Call of Duty event in London, kind of like the following year. And I emailed them some really, I thought it was kind of funny at the time, like telling them that, I would make cups of tea, I would clean the toilets, I'd do whatever they wanted me to do if there was any way that I could kind of get involved in esports. And it got all the way through to I've forgotten the gentleman's name now. But anyway, he was involved in the esports side and the tournament organization and stuff. And I was kind of like me off my own back trying to do whatever I could to get into the industry. And that's kind of been what I've been doing then since 2014. I've been using like Twitter and Instagram to kind of connect with people I possibly could, big name stars, players, anyone that I could, and just have conversations with them and get my name kind of in front of them where I possibly could. And in 2018, I took a really big interest in social media, and I started kind of looking at where my strengths could lie. And I was looking at all the different teams and what those different social medias do. And I've been a TSM fan since 2013. And like you said, there was a gap for their social media. I first got into esports in 2010 because of Optic Gaming. So I followed Optic for all of those years. And yes, I saw the inception of Optic Update and how Joey went from doing Optic Update completely for free to become then a community manager for Optic Gaming. And my story is identical to Joey's. It's the spitting image of what he did for Optic is now what I've done for TSM. I started out TSM Report in 2018 November, and all I wanted to do was basically just report on all the results, give clips of the games, highlights, roster. At the time, I was reporting on roster news because I obviously wasn't a part of TSM, so I could officially talk about the rumors that are going around. If I went onto TSM's Twitter now and started tweeting about the rumors that are going around, it's not what they do. So, and I kind of gained quite a lot of traction because I got in really early on one of the rumors about TSM signing Broken Blade from Turkey, a relatively unknown person in NA. And I started pushing out those rumors, and then people came to me thinking it was me leaking it, etc. But I was just doing what a journalist does and just reports on a piece of news which someone else is reporting on as well and giving my take. And then I grew relatively fast with that. And then my biggest turning point was Thanksgiving in America. Bjergsen followed TSM Report. Okay. And I remember DMing you about it because obviously before I started the account, I DM'd you and asked your opinion on it. I don't know how our paths originally crossed, but I obviously knew about everything you do within esports inside. Yeah,
I don't know actually.
I cannot remember, and I can't even remember how the duration that we've known each other either. And I remember kind of saying to you what do you think of this? Is this a viable? Do you think it would be good? And obviously you quoted Optic Update at the time, and you said that's worked, so there's no reason why it couldn't. And then I remember obviously when waking up in the morning and Bjergsen had followed TSM Report, and I DM'd him and said, thanks for the follow. And then he said, he really liked the idea and how he wanted to give, it's cool. Someone wants to give more to the fans that they possibly can. And then on Thanksgiving, I tweeted out a GIF of him saying, "Happy Thanksgiving. Let's all be thankful for Bjergsen." And he replied to it. And then everyone saw him replying to it. And then he's got, millions of over 1 million people on Twitter, followers. And then they obviously then saw TSM Report and started following it. And then that's when I saw the real big spike in growth. And that's just a situation where I was in the right place at the right time. He was on Twitter at the right time and he replied to it. And then from that was then when internal people within TSM noticed the account. They saw me spamming everywhere. I had tweet notifications on for everyone. I was replying to them first where I possibly could, just to kind of get the name out there. And then, it was in January 2019 is when the first staff member from TSM reached out to basically kind of talk to me about current opportunities within TSM, basically.
So going back to what you said during that, just quickly, it's what if I absolutely panned the idea, would you have still gone ahead with it?
98% for sure. I wanted to.
I was hoping to get all the credit out of that.
I know. When I thought about that, I was like, I could go one of two ways here. I could say, Adam Fitch was the co-founder of TSM Report.
And that's what I'm going to clip and put on Twitter.
But to say you weren't an inspiration and you weren't a voice to help me be go for it, do it.
Yeah, man.
I mean, you get inspiration, you get dedicated. I'm not going to sit here and beef you up now because obviously this is a podcast about esports, but I think anyone can see the amount of motivational quotes and the inspirational stuff that you put out. You go in with this hardcore attitude you have, but you are a softie at heart, and I know you are. And it is given a lot of people motivation. I know for a fact, and I'm one of them that's taken that. So,
Lovely.
Cheers,
I have to stop myself saying shit because I'm just I don't want to be one of them preachy motherfuckers. But I just feel like right now especially is a really good time to try and boost some morale and shit.
Definitely.
But I mean, I don't know. The one thing though, even if you only started it because other people gave you validation to do it, and you say it was the right time, right place, with interactions on Twitter and such. If you hadn't have done the work and took the leap in the first place, you would not be in that position. So I don't like the whole luck thing where it's
Yeah.
It's like you persevered with it and kept going with it, and then you found yourself in the right place, you know. And one of my things, I get called lucky. Like my mum called me lucky when I was going to loads of events last year before I got really tired of travelling. She's like, "Oh, it's so lucky you're getting to go to all these places." And one of my friends said, "Oh, it's cool that you get go on all these holidays." And I'm like, I see an airport, a venue, an airport. You know what I mean? That's literally it. And it's like, no, it's like I fucking worked. I slept 4 hours a night for like a year and a half writing to get good at writing for free before anything even happened. It's just like, what the fuck are you on about? But they only see the side they want to see, you know, like the cool shit, not the you hammering and you like you had a job at the time as well, and you were doing that on the side, keeping up with everything in with a team, an organisation that has fucking however many teams, fucking at least 10 probably at the time. Like it's outrageous.
That was actually the hardest thing was. So I started in November. I just started my new job in the July beforehand, and I was head of sales for the United Kingdom for
for the country.
But that was it. I was me and the Queen. We ran the country. So I would look after the whole of the UK for national food chains, and I was selling fizzy drinks to them. So like, I had like an incredibly big hard role, which I was doing, 8 till 6 kind of every day, 5 days a week. But then I would come home and obviously then dedicate, which was really good because at 6 p.m. it's 10 a.m. LA. So it's kind of like I would go from one job, I'd then transition into the 10 a.m. LA time and then work TSM report. And there were the times it was a real struggle was when they had events, which like Rainbow Six starts at my typically 3 or 4 a.m. So like covering those games and that scenario was just really difficult. But when it kind of blew up, then that gave me the drive. I was still doing it for free. And that was what was just driving me. Just seeing the fans like replying and being like, this is great. I love this Twitter account. Like, thank you for giving us the results, et cetera, et cetera. So I just got driven by that. And I knew that I was making money from my main job to be able to then do this at the same time.
Yeah, but I don't think you ever started TSM report with like joining TSM in mind, or was that ever a kind of a thing where you thought maybe it could happen, but like pipe dreamish?
Because at the time, Optic Update had been bought by or been taken over by Optic Gaming. I knew that it's happened, so it wasn't a wild dream, but I knew because Andy has spoken so openly about his thoughts on TSM social media. Previously, like on Reddit, he's voiced why TSM's Twitter is different to other organizations. I knew kind of their stance on it, so I didn't think that TSM report would ever be something that they'd ever be interested in. But the most I was going to hopefully just get some interactions with some of them. That because I'm a mega fan, I'm like a super fan. Just that was just like a drug. Like just getting a like from one of the players or like getting a retweet from one of them was just like, injected into my veins sort of situation.
So me wearing a 100 Thieves hat right now, is that triggering you?
Mate, absolutely. I'm triggered beyond belief. But I noticed in every single video you wear a different cap. So I was wondering what type of cap I was going to get this time.
I had to pick one that you wouldn't like. Yeah. And I mean, to be honest with you, I've kind of run out of options. I've got loads of different ones, but I've got a select few that I like. I kind of feel like a TSM one would look really good on me, but I mean, I don't know. With quarantine and stuff, it's and people being furloughed, it's really hard to afford things. So I unfortunately just can't buy one.
If you look at our DMs from August,
I fucking remember
last year, I told you I'd get you a TSM dad hat.
Yeah, and it's now what 22nd.
I'm joking. I'm joking. But like, I will still get you a TSM dad hat, whether I pay for it or not. But
fucking hell, don't do that.
I never put a timeline on it. So in 4 years' time, when you receive a TSM dad hat, you'd be like, don't finally delivered.
That's presuming esports is still running in 4 years.
It definitely.
I have some like doomsday scenario in my head at the moment where everything's going to come crashing and everyone thinks, that wasn't even worth it anyway. But so you say like selling fizzy drinks.
Yeah.
I bet you can't even go into saying which fizzy drinks those were, could you?
I mean, you can just go onto my everything is public on LinkedIn, but do you know Bottle Green?
Not a clue.
Fancy. Okay, cool.
Did you sell Mountain Dew though?
No, I never sold.
That'd have been quite sweet actually if that happened. But
I know,
you
yeah.
did. No, I'd
But
not heard of that one.
no, basically it's just a really premium fizzy
Oh, that's why
fizzy
then.
drinking cooler. Yeah,
Not gonna be
really,
selling
really
it in
expensive.
Scunthorpe, are they?
No,
Fucking hell,
but
mate.
yeah.
We've got like Iron Brew and Mountain Dew, and then just all like the fucking home brand shit.
Yeah, do love a good Mountain Dew, so it's all good.
I in my college years, this is not me bigging up Mountain Dew because of whatever, but like in my college years, I was drinking 3 a day, and I think like the sugar content in the ones I was drinking was like 66% of my daily sugar was in one of the drinks.
Wow,
I was drinking 3 a day. I was dedicated to the cause. No wonder I got fucking inflated a bit. Like, you know what I mean?
Inflated.
Fortunately,
like
it's
that
going
word.
now, but like Jesus Christ, yeah. Like I didn't even realize, but that was one of the that was a guilty pleasure without a doubt. Fucking hell. And then I had a game fuel when I was in Fort Worth last year for the COD event.
Yep.
And I couldn't open it for about 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I only had one hand actually. That sounds wrong. Wait, because I was on the phone at the time. Speaking to my parents, speaking to my dad, he was like, "What's it like in Texas?" I'm like, "I don't know. I've seen a Hilton and I've seen a venue. That's it." But yeah, I was trying to open it and I couldn't understand the lid. But like, it was nice. It was nice. Do we have them in the UK though? The game fuel.
Don't have them in the UK, no. Unfortunately.
Well, no, I'm not gonna. I was gonna say something. I'll get in trouble then, but I won't. Right. I want to.
I like that.
But besides, I don't know. I think G2 gets away with a lot on social media that others perhaps wouldn't, or like that they're at least willing to go there. But I'm seeing now's a couple of clones started popping up, and I'm trying to be better at not calling everyone out, because I do it too often. I think I'm like too abrasive at times, but I'm gonna do it anyway. XL. Nathan Edmonds over there recently joined in a full-time position, and whenever a Twitter account representing a brand says "I," so it's like I like this meme, or like I don't like winning or losing or whatever it may be, I fucking hate it instantly. I'm just like, you're clueless. But I feel like he's trying to copy off of G2 a bit, and I don't think it suits the XL brand. I'm big fans of XL and the people there, but I don't think it works. What's your take on G2's approach and such, really? Because I think it kind of stands out a lot, and then we'll get to TSMs.
It's actually, so I have some really good friends within the G2 social team, and what they've done so I'm gonna club G2 and C9 together. So I'm gonna give you the NA,
that's reasonable, yeah.
The NA and the EU reps. Basically, those two, I was going to talk about this on Twitter recently. I think that quite a lot of people want to be G2 and C9 because of, you look at their growth over the last year. I mean, G2's growth on socials has been unbelievable. And you look at C9's growth, and people try to replicate that as much as they can. And I know Nathan, who's just joined XL as well. And it is just down to the social media manager that has built that strategy to the perfection, and their voice and their tone and their brand is represented so well through everything that they tweet. So G2's and C9's social media only works because of the players that they have within their organization. So if you look at the G2 League of Legends team, they are hardcore memers. They are hardcore laughing at themselves. They absolutely love it when they lose because they are able to make jokes out of it. They obviously don't love it when they lose, but they're able to paint such a pretty picture of when they lose games. And that is why the G2 socials work so well, because they are able to make memes, they're able to make videos, and they're able to laugh at their players because their players are just going to laugh back, and the players are just going to get involved. And there's going to be never going to be that kind of like conflict of interest sort of thing, because at the end of the day, within an esports org, the players are the number one. They are they are the product of the business, and they are on the same level as what a CEO would be, because without the players, an esports org has got nothing. So that's why I think that their G2 socials and C9 socials are just like unmatched in their category. So they are the two in the category of all we do is meme, just meme, and that's kind of like what we do, and like that's amazing, and it's so much fun. But when other brands try to replicate what they do, I think is where it fails drastically. And I really like Kieran and what he's done at Excel. Like, amazing British brand. We're both Brits. We probably both love the brand.
100%.
But I definitely disagree with the path that it's going down at the moment. And it's the really informal first person I speaking as like Excel. And there is a way to speak first person without saying I. And we do it, G2 do it, C9 do it. And it's something that definitely needs like a bit of, it's like scenarios where you can say me instead of I, and it not sound so first person. But yeah, I agree with your comments on Excel social media. And Nathan, if you are watching this ever, obviously nothing against you, but it all comes down to like a social media strategy. And that's what I've learned.
Okay.
Obviously coming in, because before we started this call, you were like, I've done no prep, all I know is you tweet.
Yes.
And it's like, that is such a funny, not a misconception at all, because all I do is tweet. But the process before,
yeah, that's like the minutiae of the job. Like everything's building into that. That's where the real work is.
Exactly.
Yeah, and as you say, not really against Nathan. I'm not his biggest fan anymore. He's made some stupid mistakes and decisions, and I'll stick with that. But obviously, wish him the best at XL. But yeah, I just so it doesn't sit right with me. And I mean, I want XL to be like the British brand, like without a doubt, because like Fanatics obviously kind of changed its scope to be more global in a sense. So I don't see that trying to be like the London-based brand as much anymore. Sam Matthews probably kill me for that, of course, because he's getting offended at everything recently. Fucking hell. But yeah, I don't know. I think partially because I really wanted to succeed when I'm seeing bits that I personally don't agree with, but I'm not a social media guy in a sense, really. Like, I'm just like, come on. But I don't know. I have to assume they've got things in place that they've nailed down the direction they want to go in terms of the voice of the brand and the content they want to put out. And that's fair enough. One thing I want to get your opinion on quickly, actually, is Gfinity's social media, right? Have you seen it?
I don't follow Gfinity, unfortunately.
Congratulations. I unfortunately do, mainly to laugh, but so I don't like the content on Gfinity anyway. I'm not going to turn this into a Gfinity ragging session. It'd be too easy. But Nathan also manages Gfinity, so it really seems like I'm ragging on him now. But the tactic there is to take memes off of Reddit and then post them on Twitter, and then they'll brag about impressions and engagements going up and stuff. But but you're building no like brand affinity. Like, this is not unique to your brand at all. Yeah, and like, is there a perfect balance to be had there, or do all memes have to be, or like any content that comes out, does it really have to be unique to your brand for it to land and really work towards the same goal as your other social media posts, or what? I'm trying to learn myself here right now.
That's such a difficult question to answer, for sure, because like, I don't actually think there is a style of a meme or a format of a meme or anything to do with that scenario which could says that that's your brand. Like, you're either like to do memes or you don't like to do memes. There are some Twitter, there are some esports socials which don't meme at all, and then when they do put out anything relatively funny, because it's the meme is such a funny word now, because meme just means to be funny. Like, back in the day when the word first came out, a meme would be a picture with text at the top,
I still
text at the bottom,
very much use that as the definition.
Yeah, and that is a meme. Now I just feel like a meme is just a different word of saying funny, and like to joke and to laugh. Yeah, and like to be memed on and to be let's go meme about that. It's just to be, let's just go and create something funny and a joke which then people will share with friends, etc. And I feel like I'm probably getting lost on your question here, but where memes get lost is where it's original content versus just stuff you've taken off Reddit and then you post it and then you credit it, because all that's becoming is you're just a reposter.
Exactly.
You're just reposting, you're just retweeting. Whereas there are scenarios where that works. You take someone's piece of art, like I used it recently in a Bjergsen post where someone made a meme for me, but then I took that and then added another bit to it to make it another meme. And like that's kind of a scenario where it works. And it's great because obviously you've developed it, but to take someone else's work and then just be like, have you seen that joke where someone goes, I made this, and then someone takes it from them and says, I made this. And
I'm an old man who don't pay attention
yeah,
to it.
it's fine. Well, there's a meme that's like about...
I see what you're saying.
And it's like someone made this and then you steal it and you're like, I made this.
Right.
But yeah, I think when it comes to branding and memes, if you've never made a joke before and you never do those style of memes, then that's when it looks really out of place and doesn't communicate anything to do with your brand.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. And the kind of say the purpose of these podcasts is to kind of shed a bit of light into the roles and different sectors in esports in the industry.
Yeah.
So with that being said, let's talk about doublelift. No, I'm joking. Right. On your, I know I'll get you that. On your day to day basis, then what does your work look like on like a regular day?
So it's gonna be
Sorry,
like a really...
that was such an asshole move.
I have no idea who you're talking about, so
okay.
it's absolutely fine, mate.
Okay.
You throw me off my tracks though.
Day to day, what do you do, mate?
Day to day, what do I do?
Yeah, because I imagine it's not just tweeting. Though I
No,
would be reductive enough to say it is just.
Yeah, that's what my parents say. Like, why are you stressed? You just tweet.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, so you've actually come to like, so within TSM we have 2 people in the social team. You have me here in the UK, and then we have Keenan, who works out of LA and works out of the headquarters. He joined the org last year. I can't remember when he joined, December 2018. And he was just the sole person. TSM didn't have a proper social team beforehand. Their socials were so big. It's just crazy how they've got to where they are today when they didn't have like a fully dedicated plan and strategy and everything. And then Keenan came in and his first job was to build a strategy, a voice, a brand, a tone, and kind of get our team to where he wanted it to be. And then he built that. And then he started to do that. And then he had to do all of the community management work as well. And basically what community manager does is what I previously touched on is they take the strategy and then they actually put the, what's the word? They put it into play. They put practice into play. Is that the sentence?
That works for me.
Whatever it is. So he's written down and says, this is how we're supposed to be on socials. This is how we represent ourselves. This is our tone. This is what we kind of do. And then I basically just take that and apply it and actually just do it.
Okay, but that can't be done on a regular basis, though, right? That seems like it's kind of a one and done, which you kind of revisit over time.
Yeah, you build your overarching strategy and then you continue to develop it and add to it with different, if new things come up, if new platforms come up, and then you have to apply that to different platforms. So then Keenan started to make this strategy, which is really good. And then when I joined, it was one of my first tasks was to kind of help him finish it off. So then I got to kind of add like a little bit of my thoughts to it, which was really good. And now basically the way that we work is he'll come up with content ideas. So funny skits or YouTube videos that we want to do. And he'll create some more of the content side of things. And then what my day-to-day job is like interacting with fans across, replying to tweets. If we tweet something out and someone replies to it, it's then replying to them, is replying to comments on Instagram. I manage our official Discord. I manage our Reddit account. So interacting with fans on Reddit in like post-game threads. I don't actually know how involved you are in esports, like what esports you follow.
Okay, no one knows.
No, I've never seen you comment on actual esports. I've just seen you comment on business.
Let me. Fucking, it's a secret of mine.
Give me an exclusive.
A secret of mine is, I no longer care for gaming.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay.
I don't watch streams. I don't support teams. I don't have. I think CS:GO is the best esport. But I don't actively support any game over another. I'm too busy trying to understand them all from like a very like macro level, just at the top, just like staying on top of what's going on. Like it's too much going on at that level for me to drop down and just enjoy something as a fan. So I haven't enjoyed something as a fan since probably the last CS:GO major.
Crazy.
And it just goes like that. Yeah, so I'm not like I'll game with friends occasionally, but I don't really care anymore unless it's COD remastered, Modern Warfare remastered. Then I'll absolutely split some wigs. But apart from I'm just not into it anymore. But sorry, you were saying about the Reddits. And
that's the reason why I asked you is because I could then apply. If you talked about Rocket League, then their subreddit is all about memes. They love it when teams come in and create memes and then post it in and share it with the Reddit fans and stuff. So my job is to just interact with them. If we have announcements, like roster changes or stuff, I will go in and like create a thread and talk to the fans about the decision behind it all. And I've kind of now built up like a knowledge of each different subreddit and how they like to be like interacted with.
It's fucking torturous.
It is. The words you've got to say, they just think that it's just marketing, and it's not. But yeah, it's just difficult to get your head around. And then I kind of outside the community management and engaging with fans, then I just have to just create content where I possibly can. I watch endless amounts of streams of all of our players. We have 74 content creators and pro players, and I skip through loads of their channels, seeing their like best clips, the trending clips, and then I'll either be able to share them across all of our different platforms, Instagram, Twitter, or if I see it as funny and memeable, then I'll throw it into Adobe Premiere Pro and I'll make a funny, I'll edit it and stuff. And then I create our TikToks. So I do our TikTok channel. And then as you know, I love TikTok. All right.
You've got it downloaded on your phone right now.
Absolutely. Of course I do.
Right. Thank you everyone for listening to the Adam Fitch podcast. Fuck. That's too far, mate. That's too far.
It's not, because I loved Vine. Right, so back in the days of Vine was my biggest platform, and I absolutely was addicted to it. Yeah, but TikTok is the new Vine, and it is like it's a meme to hate it. You download it as a joke, and then you're addicted to it.
Yeah, whereas I just never fucking bothered.
Yeah, well, if you don't want to, just never even jokingly download it, because you'll get addicted. You will get addicted, and I know you will.
Well, not me. But okay.
No. Because you being the general audience, but it's a great platform, and it's at the moment it's our fastest growing platform. So launched it Christmas Day, and we just broke 500,000 followers.
Why were you launching out Christmas Day instead of opening presents and eating loads of food, mate? Like, what's going on there?
I just love my job, unfortunately.
Fucking hell, me too. But you reckon I was writing about like HyperX sponsoring someone on Christmas Day?
Yeah, but difference is, see, I put the work in before Christmas Day to make the TikTok, and then all I had to do, I've thrown it into my drafts, I've written the copy, I've done the hashtags, all I had to do is go in and press send.
Yeah.
And there was just a lot of data at the time around the amount of social time people spend, the amount of time people spend on socials on Christmas Day. You get a new laptop, you get a new iPad, you get a new iPhone, whatever it is.
You get sick of your family that you don't want to see. Yeah.
Exactly. So by the time it's the evening, that's like one of our most viewed TikToks. So, it obviously worked, thankfully. But we just broke 500,000 followers on TikTok. So it's like our fastest. It's crazy. And COVID is just only making that platform way more popular because people are at home. They want entertainment and they want to make funny videos.
So you're saying you're thankful for COVID for happening, right?
No, definitely not. However, COVID has brought lots of positives to the esports scenes, but an unbelievable amount of negatives to the esports scenes.
Yes, and everyone wants to pretend that it's all good.
Yeah.
Until I put out mini viral esports banger of the week and shut every fucker up real quick. I've been wanting to rant about shit for ages, but like with you, where you have to be active on social media, right, to know what the fuck's going on. Like I really not struggle, but I have to force myself to tweet. because I came to a realization last year when I was upon my soul searching and Zen lifestyle that I've now adopted, where basically like your opinion's not always needed. So I used to give my opinion on what felt like fucking everything. And at the end of the day, I was just like, well, social media doesn't really matter for me. Like, it just doesn't. And at the end of the day, when I'm 70, I'm not going to look back and go, oh, I'm glad I spent however much time tweeting random bollocks for myself, you know. So I have to really force myself to go out there and put shit in, because, and I've said this a couple of times on the podcast, but I want to see if you've got any sort of reaction to it. But there are a lot of the journalists in esports who are considered the best or are considered for awards and all these kind of things. They have good social media presence or they've built themselves up as personalities as well as just journalists, right? Because we have to be unbiased and objective, whereas they're now going in and giving opinions and doing live streams and everything, you know. So I thought, okay, well, I'm actually doing myself a disservice by not tweeting at all, and I'm nowhere near where I should be. I should be doing a lot more, and I could see a lot of growth if I really wanted to, but I just don't like playing the game. But do you think it's important outside of your job as such? Like when you were not working in esports, not working for TSM, did you really prioritize growth for your own socials, or was it just like, it is what it is?
Absolutely. I couldn't. This is probably the first time I fully disagree with you on something, and like you have to play the game. Like that is just the way it is.
I agree.
Like
I just don't want to play the game. That's all.
I know, yeah, and I get that. Then so technically we both agree, but the proof is in the pudding. That one tweet you put out and your opinion on COVID and the esports scene blew up. Like it, loads of people talking about it. Lots of interactions around it, and so many opinions came out of it, and that is all I use social for, is to build my own personal brand. If TSM ever wanted to get rid of me, and that scenario ever arose, then I need to be, because I have no other credibility within esports outside of my one role here that I've got. Admittedly, I'm starting at one of the biggest esports orgs ever. I need to build my own brand and need to voice my opinions on different scenarios. And that's the reason why people follow you, is because they want to see your opinion. And like when a new game drops, I will actively search my timeline to see what people's opinions are on the situation, on the news, you know, and everything. And I feel like for journalists, it's even more interesting because you give the most unbiased, neutral opinions going, because you're not allowed to be biased. So like they're the opinions which I'll go and search for the most. And I don't actually follow that many journalists. Like you, Theon, Jacob Wolf, mainly those two will have the same opinions because they work for the same company. That's it. I just follow those, really? And I'll go to you three for opinions on situations. You rarely tweet or share your opinion, and when you do, you're just angry at them anyway.
See, that's what I mean. I just seem like old man yelling at cloud if I just tweet it all the time, you know. And that's the thing. When I get interviewed by people who are outside of esports, I always sound negative as fuck, and that's because I'm trying to fix highlight the bad shit instead of. I know there are good bits. Like, it's a great community, and people are making a living playing fucking games, and people not playing fucking games, but are still making livings based on people playing fucking games. Like, it's incredible in that sense. Like, and I know I seem really negative on shit, but it's just like I spend my time looking at what the fuck's going on, and I don't have. We don't have to fix the good shit. No. It's only the bad shit. So I do seem like an absolute crazy fucker a lot of the time, or angry fucker a lot of the time.
But then it's obviously quite good to get opinions from people that are outspoken and don't care about. I don't care about saying something. So like when the whole PUBG situation went down, the revenue share, you weren't scared to sever any potential journalist ties with Tencent or with anyone within PUBG, because you just actively spoke your opinion on the situation and how you felt about it all. And then there's not many journalists or people that would do that because they're scared about, you know, if you wanted to go into full-time covering PUBG, obviously it's not what you do, but then they'd be like, I don't want to sever any relationship.
a
potential relationship. And that's when I don't like that pussyfooting, walking on eggshells situation. So like we need people like you to give a truthful opinion, and it's almost like you only speak up when it's bad.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Like you only give your opinion, and I couldn't actually tell you the last time I saw you say something good, positive about a move within esports. On the hard carry, no, because on the hard carry, you talked about FaZe Clan's recent 40 million investment. Like that was good. You talked about that investment is always good. I'm not going to phase up with you, mate. I'm so sorry.
I'm just going to do this to create a bit of problem.
To yourself.
Is that what it is?
No, it's not at all.
I was going to say that's not great.
I don't know. West Side is the best. But like, so obviously that's positives you're talking about, but you're not giving a positive opinion on a scenario. So
I gave a positive opinion about Baby Bell.
Okay. What?
Baby Bell entered esports with Heretics, and I covered that in hardcore.
Oh, right.
And I was positive about it.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that's good. That's really good.
That's one I can remember. It's mad when a positive thought stands out.
Yeah, it is, yeah. That one time, 7 episodes ago, I remember.
Yeah. No, you are right, though. And I mean, one thing is, my actual outlook on life at the moment is the most positive it's ever been. But yeah, there's something about social media where I don't feel inclined to just tweet, oh, I think this is good. Oh, I really like the TSM Game Fuel partnership. It's like, I don't feel compelled to do that. But if there was a really shit launch video, or like it was just I don't know, whatever it may be, like it was a good video from what I saw. I think there was a launch video, right? Yeah, it was good. But I'm just saying, if there was a shit one, or like if something didn't really translate the way it was planned or something, I would 100% call that out. It's just something inside of me. I'm just drawn to that.
It's almost as if like if someone did like this really big facility launch video, and then you would, you'd make a comment on that, that's the type of situation, right?
If you want me to get into that.
Please don't. No. We'll just avoid that.
No, I'm just, I've got no real need to speak on like really expensive dick measuring competitions. So I might. You know what? I've been contemplating doing like individual videos, like actually just recording videos, not doing podcasts, and breaking shit down and going into stuff. And I may do it, and if so, then that may be one of the ones that I do if I decide to pull the trigger on it. But things are busy at the moment, I don't know. I've also been considering doing this twice a week. What do you think on that? If I released this podcast twice a week?
Yes. There's not enough. So from someone, I studied business management at university, so everything I do within esports is I've always got a business brain and mind and opinion on it. So when people invest, people spend money, etc. So I have way more interest in the business side of esports as well. So like I really like your podcast that you've done. You talked about your different industries, the different careers and that. But I want to eat more content, and like I really dig the stuff that Nadeshot's done. His 2 different podcasts. But outside of that, I just don't have anything. I
don't like the Courage and Nadeshot show at all, actually, personally. But I think the self-made one.
Yeah. Self-made one's great. I like the entertainment side of esports as well. So that's why I like.
I forget about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just entertainment, isn't it?
It's actually Courage annoys me now. I really liked him when he was a caster, and now he's trying to be a personality. He's just like seemingly he's tried to amplify what is the popular parts of him to the point where I'm just like, shut the fuck up, geezer. But like, I respect what he's done. And it's really cool to see a COD guy like in the position he's in. Like, fucking hell, that's amazing, because I'm a COD guy myself, as you say. Yeah, you got into it in like 2010, you say?
Yeah, my first tournament was 2010. No, my first ever tournament I ever watched was 2008. It was the MLG National Championships 2008. And back then, I could only watch highlights of it because I didn't know anything about MLG TV. I just watched the highlights clips on YouTube. But the first time I proper watched one was 2010, and that was actually Optic's first MLG National Championship.
Okay.
And I've loved COD ever since, and it was great. All of your leaks for the CDL.
I pissed off so many people.
Yeah, I was going to say you probably paid off so many people, but like that whole iteration of the COD CDL and that has been super fascinating. I obviously have a real big opinion around franchising, city franchising.
Give me it.
I just don't like it. I don't agree with it. I've never agreed.
Well, because of like the digital nature of esports.
And I just don't. From a cost perspective, I just don't see it. I don't like it. I don't like the idea that we have a team in London which then has to travel so much to go to all these different events. Where if they just had an NA league and then they just had a European league. I don't know. That's why I love Riot Games so much and what they've done with the esports scene around the LEC and the LCS. But I just don't like city-based franchises. I never liked it for Overwatch. Why should a brand like FaZe have to give up their name in that esport?
But then you've seen twice. The CDL. There's Optic Game in LA, and then there's Atlanta FaZe.
Yeah, so that works for CDL, obviously, but for Overwatch,
some weird shit went on there, I tell you. And I don't mean to. I'm not bringing this up some sort of flex, but like, I spoke to Mike Sepso the other day, like the co-founder of MLG. I had an hour long chat with him for an interview, not just casually. I'm not like that fucking baller.
Yo, what's up?
I'm just like, all right, Sepso. No, it's not one of them. Like, Mikey Mike. It's for an interview that's going out soon, and he was saying so. Like, he basically came up with the blueprint for Overwatch League and Call of Duty League, and he concluded the reason why MLG would never succeed is because it didn't own any part. It doesn't own the IP. It don't own the Brock. Like, there's so many different things, and he said the only way it could be viable for like a tournament organizer to really make money and succeed in esports, and he included ESL in this and such, is if it owns its own IP.
Yeah.
And he thinks that's the only way, and I haven't had enough time to digest and really think on it and see what's what. But like, he's smarter than me. But from like a personal standpoint, I'm also not too fussed. If it works on a monetary basis, because obviously you've seen the sponsors and how much money Overwatch League made in its first 2 years, I guess, with the Twitch deal.
Yeah.
And then like it's supposed to be, I think, $160 million for the new deal between Google and Activision Blizzard for the two leagues, and I think it's a bit of Hearthstone as well. Like, it's interesting to think of. I do. Like, and I don't know why people call like the LCS and LEC franchising, because it's long-term partnerships instead of franchising. I'm going to wage a war very much against that soon. But I really think like the long-term partnerships seem to be going well, and the CBLOL's getting it, and the Turkish league's getting it, and obviously LCK was announced recently, and it seems like that seems better. But
I love franchising. I think franchising is the best thing going, because it gives orgs stability. Back when the LCS and the LEC didn't have franchising.
It's not franchising, you fuck! It's long-term partnerships! That's what I'm going to be like on Twitter from now on.
Long-term partnerships. But I really like that. I just don't like city-based, because to me, I don't follow, although the Royal Ravens are from London, I don't follow them because I don't live in London. So like, for me, it's like, yeah, there you go. The Royal Ravens. I just follow Scump wherever he goes, and for that. But I just prefer long-term partnership leagues where I know that if a team is going to underperform for the year, they're not going to be gone the next year, sort of situation.
Right.
So, I just don't like city-based. That's all. Okay. It's just my bugbear with it.
No, that's fair. And we're coming towards the hour mark, and we've both got lives to be living. So I won't keep you going much longer, but I want to ask one thing. So about your job, what's the most challenging part? The one thing that really gives you a hard time, or like you really struggle with, like whether it's tweeting out about a loss or anything like that?
Honestly, just having to be online 24/7.
So you never switch off like me then?
No. I started at my full-time job with TSM in August, and I've not taken a day off since. So I worked Christmas Day, but when I say I worked, it's obviously a lot different from someone going into an office and working 9 to 5. If I pull my phone out and I'm looking on Twitter, which like anyone does, if you sit down, you watch Netflix, you pull your phone out and you're like, what's going on in the world? I'm just doing that through TSM. So I'm doing that on TSM's Twitter, on Reddit. So if I wasn't working for TSM, I'd just be doing that as Dunk, and just visiting these places as Dunk. So to me, work doesn't feel like work, and it never has. But if I miss out on something that went down, if I missed out on some beef that went down on Twitter, which I could get involved in and, reap the engagement from, that's like, in my eyes, it's like, I failed that situation. That's definitely the first part. That's the most challenging thing of the job, is definitely the 24/7 online. You have to just be in there everywhere. And the second one is just making enough content. So TSM have an unbelievable content team, which does everything for YouTube. They go to all of the events, they film, they photo, they photograph, they do everything. They're an unbelievable team. But then when it comes to me making enough memes and enough funny stuff, like, I'm relying on my own sense of humor to, if I make something, I have to be like, I think this is funny, but is everyone else going to think it's funny?
Yeah.
Like, if I post it out and it flops considerably.
Has
and
that
then
happened yet?
I have made I've made a couple of jokes which definitely haven't like popped off, but the TSM fans are just great. They will eat up anything that we put out, and they always have and they always will. But there are certain scenarios where I make a video and it just flops real bad, and it's like, damn it.
Sounds like my entire attempt at podcasting at the moment.
Podcasting, I give full credit to anyone who does it, because it's an incredibly hard gig.
No, you just sit down and talk for an hour, man.
Yeah, but you get to get your viewership, to get people invested.
Oh yeah, that part. Yeah, that's the part I should care about, but I don't. And like, I've had sponsorship opportunities, didn't like that. I had a call with someone who wanted me to bring me on as a partner at fucking Sirius XM the other day. I said no.
Yeah.
Like, I'm saying no to everything. Like, I've turned down all money from it. I've turned down all potential viewership boosts from it. Like,
why?
I just don't care. I'm not doing it for that reason. Okay. I'm not doing it to make loads of dosh, Like, I'd just go freelance writing and just, like, because there's not many good writers about any sports, so it'd be fucking easy if I wanted to do it that way. But no, I'm doing it, so I'm providing a service to the public.
I like
sacrificing my time and my effort for the ungrateful cunts.
You're getting your name out. You're getting your name out there constantly, doing this stuff, and you're meeting some wicked people. Like, I'm learning tons from your podcast as well.
Okay. I really appreciate you actually listening or watching whatever you do to the podcast. That's crazy. You're one of the first people to actually say that, especially a guest.
Your Jacob Wolf one, I really wish got some more traction and more people viewed it, because that one was really good.
I think that one will be good to go back on in a few years. I think at some point that one will build up, but it'll be like a real slow build. But for anyone looking to get into esports journalism, like, that's the one. In my opinion.
Exactly. And then Mitzi, Mitzi.
Code Red.
I've known her for a few years now, and that one was really insightful as well. So,
and she was really nervous before it as well. I think that was her first podcast as well, actually. So
you could sort of tell.
From
her.
I'd not spoken to her before in like person or anything like that, so I didn't know really how she was, but I think she came into it.
After 5-10 minutes, it was like the 19th podcast she'd ever done, so it was completely normal.
And how have you been on like an ending?
Fine. Yeah, it's been really good. It's fun to talk about kind of what I do and my day-to-day job and my past and stuff, because in my opinion, I'm like, who cares? It's that whole didn't ask situation. But TSM has always been that org that's very close-knit. Let's keep everything in-house. We don't want to let anything go. So it's been nice to be able to, because I know that there'll be plenty of TSM fans that watch this, and it'll be good for them to get a small bit of insight where I possibly can.
For the TSM fans, I'm sorry for mentioning the facility. I'm sorry for mentioning a player that I'm not going to mention again. He's definitely not called Double Lift. I'm sorry for anything else that I said that may offend you, but I'm not really sorry. So now, promote yourself, big yourself up. You do you, mate. It's your time. Crack a lack.
To be honest, there's not much bigging up I'm going to do. Follow me on Twitter at TSM. Follow me on Instagram at TSM. Follow me on Twitter.
I didn't know you were called TSM.
No.
Come on,
if you ever want to keep up with me, just follow me on Twitter at followdunk. That's literally it. That's my bread and butter. That's where I live. That's what I tweet about. That's where I am.
So you can't see you doing the Tootsie slide on TikTok on your personal TikTok.
No, I don't have a TikTok account. I'll make it for TSM, but I'll never make my own TikTok.
Shit, I might make one and start doing some dances.
Do you know what? I would love to see that. That'll be a great day.
And I mean, I think everyone needs to realise who the real geezer is in esports, you know. And if that's the way I need to do it, that's how I'm gonna do it, you know.
That is how you're gonna grow. Right?
Yeah, not by putting out reports and such.
Yeah. Screw the journalism.
Yeah, fuck it. I'll just hit like Soldier Boy or something. Right. Thank you everyone for watching and listening. I really appreciate it. Thank you to Dunk for joining me. As always, subscribe if you want, but also I don't care if you don't. That's fine. Every Tuesday, catch me buying Fitch everywhere because good branding, and I appreciate your time. Cheers.